In Canto 10, Dante enters the heaven of the sun, and this passage from the poem is all the commentary this image needs. The sun, nature's prime minister, foremost in apportioning the power of the heavens to our physical world, the sun whose light sets the measure of hour, season, and year. His wavy orbit along the equator had brought him over our horizon earlier and earlier, and now came a day lengthened to exactly match the night, the spring equinox, and I was with him, and sphered within the sun itself. I had had no perception of ascending there, no more than you see a thought approach before you think it. In heaven all motions are motions of the mind. Transitions are an instant exchange of theirs. Space is not traversed, but superseded, while time is entirely bypassed. Beatrice it is who leads me thus forever, from good to suddenly better. For her there is no interval between the beginning of an act and the accomplished fact. The sun is the abode of the wise. Here Dante and Beatrice are greeted by Thomas Aquinas in the tonsure, and his mentor Albertus Magnus in his bishop's hat. Seated at far left in monk's robes is the Venerable Bede. We have 3 figures in bishop's mitres, though only 2 appear in the text. That is assuredly Solomon in the crown. The assembled famous names of medieval theology will be little more than names to the viewer, as they were to Di Paolo, who has clothed and counted them, as he rendered the writing in their books, without specifying detail, to create a general impression. Still in the heaven of the sun, Aquinas shows the souls of St. Dominic and St. Francis, in Dominican and Franciscan habits, which were sufficiently rich as symbols to give this illumination its meaning and interest. Here we have the landscape of Umbria, with the towns of Assisi on the left and Gubbio on the right, separated by the river Tupino. The young St. Francis has horrified his father by giving family property to the poor. Dante recounts the famous incident. His father, afraid the love-struck boy would hand out all the family's goods, summoned him before the church tribunal, demanding he renounce his right to inherit. The father hoped to prevent further loss, to reprove the youth's wasteful whims. To the public's amazement and his father's dismay, he cheerfully acceded, renouncing all financial claims, and even removed his clothing. Placing it before the court at his father's feet, he gave all back, down to the last thread. In Canto 12, St. Bonaventure, in Franciscan habit, tells the story of St. Dominic. We see Dominic's hometown, Calaroga, near the western coast of Spain. Dominic was the first Grand Inquisitor, and presided over the massacre of the heretical Cathars of southern France, effectively extinguishing Provençal language and civilization. Dante gives the official heroic view of Dominic's chilling mission. Here we see the saint preaching to misbelievers who are represented as Jews. Canto 12 concludes with Bonaventure's critique of the later Franciscan order. If you were to carefully scan the whole Franciscan order as one leafs through a book, you'd yet discover here and there a page with the text unblemished, truly proofread, entirely unabridged, men whose lives are a fair transcription of Francis, who aren't followers of either of the factions into which the fellowship has split. Along with eminent early Franciscans, denoted by their habit, Bonaventure introduces Dante to various other luminaries of his own celestial circle. Dante describes them with brief allusions, and they are now little more than names to the non-specialist. Di Paolo's colorful rendering of this imposing theological gathering provides the mood conveyed by Dante's summary roster.